Okay, so we'll continue with lecture 8 now of auditing concepts for CAAP. Okay, this is for CMA Intermediate, June 2022 attempt. ठीक है, तो चलिए lecture 8 को आगे लेके चलते हैं. So this is where we had ended last time. चलो, next is disclosure of accounting policies. Okay, as we know, the title of AS1 is disclosure of accounting policies. Okay, so now what is accounting policies? Okay, accounting policies are specific accounting principles and methods of applying the accounting principles. Okay, accounting policies are nothing but some specific accounting principles. Okay, and how to apply those principles. Okay, these two things. Okay, how to apply and principles of applying those principles adopted by the enterprise in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. Okay, so accounting policies in short is what? Some specific accounting principles. That is one thing, and how to apply, which principle to apply when while preparing and presenting financial statements. Okay, so पहला एक है कि कौन सा accounting principles आप select करो. What are the specific accounting principles? वो मालूम होना चाहिए आपको. You should know that. Okay, and secondly, which principle to select in which case. ठीक है, and what is your ultimate objective? Preparation and presentation of financial statements so that it represents true and fair view. Okay, okay, the view presented in financial statements as to the state of affairs and operating results can be significantly affected. Okay, so basically your view of the financial statements of an entity can be significantly changed by following different accounting policies in the preparation of financial statements. Okay, that's why it is very, very important. Okay, so that's why adequate disclosure is very important. Okay, so now the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has issued AS1 disclosure of accounting policies. Okay, okay, and what is the main purpose of disclosure of accounting policies? AS1, to promote a better understanding of financial statements so that accounting policies are disclosed in a way, okay, that the end user can have a much better understanding of the financial statements. Okay, so then let us next we'll see what are the fundamental accounting assumptions. Okay, you have something called as fundamental accounting assumptions. ठीक है, यहाँ पे 3 accounting assumptions होते हैं. There are 3 accounting assumptions which are fundamental accounting assumptions. ठीक है, चलिए ये तो assumption आपको लेना ही है. Okay, and if you are not taking this, then you will have to disclose that I am not using this accounting assumption. Okay, so otherwise if you have not said anything, that means it is assumed that you have used these 3 fundamental accounting assumptions. Okay, so AS3 discloses 3 fundamental accounting assumptions. Okay, first one is going concern. Okay, so going concern आप लोगों ने accounting concepts में भी पढ़ा होगा पहले, right? Going concern, so you would have heard about going concern, right? So going concern basically means that when you prepared this account, okay, when you have prepared these financial statements, okay, your assumption is that your business is going to continue in the foreseeable or the near future. Okay, so you have prepared thinking that the business is going to continue for some years. Okay, not that the business is going to end after this year. So how will it make a difference? It will make a difference that, say, if your business is going to end today, okay, then the values of all things will be different, right? You might want to give out certain things at cheap costs just for closing, correct? So it makes a difference. That's why when businesses are preparing accounts, first assumption is going concern. Okay, most important. So you are saying that enterprise has the intention to carry on operations in the foreseeable future. Okay, and there's no intention to discontinue. There's no intention to discontinue. Okay, nor there is any need for liquidation. So that means the company is going on. Okay, now when companies are formed, they are formed for a long time, right? So going concern says that we have no intention to close down in the near future. We are going on as normal. Okay, that's what is the statement. Okay, and this, like, because of going concern, you provide depreciation and all that in the books of accounts. Okay? So because you are sure that you are going to use these assets for a long time, that's why you provide depreciation. Okay, this is one thing. Second fundamental accounting assumption is consistency. Okay, so consistency means that if you have picked any accounting policy, okay, for example, here you have picked FIFO basis of inventory valuation. Okay, then you have to, year after year, you have to use FIFO basis. So if you are changing it, you will have to disclose it. Okay, and what would be the impact of the disclosure? That till now you are following FIFO, now you want to change it. So what will be the impact? All that you will have to disclose. Okay, otherwise consistency means you will follow the same accounting assumptions year to year. Okay? You will not keep on changing it based on what suits you. Okay, so that is called consistency. Similarly, depreciation method, you are using WDV method and suddenly you want to shift to straight line method. Okay, that cannot be done. So you have to use one method consistently. If you are changing, then you will have to give a disclosure, okay, in the balance sheet, that why you have done that, and because of this change, what is the total difference in the depreciation charged, that you will have to give if you want to change from, say, SLM to WDV. Okay, right? So this is called principle of consistency. That follow it consistently. Whatever you are following, follow it consistently. Okay. So, and then last is accrual. We all know this. Okay. Accrual means revenues and costs are accrued. Okay. Once you have once you have recognized a debt, it is said to be accrued. Okay. Not necessarily that you would have paid your creditors, or you would receive money immediately from the debtors. Okay, so cash is not received immediately, but the moment the debt is recognized, the debt or credit is recognized, okay, that means it is said to be accrued. Okay, and you recognize it in your accounts as a payment or receipt. Okay, so revenues and costs are accrued means recognized when they are earned or incurred. Okay, earned or incurred is the word. For revenue, you will use the word earned. For cost, you will use the word incurred. Okay, so real receipt of payment is not necessary. It can happen later. That is also a fundamental concept. Okay, fundamental accounting principle. So what it says is you are maintaining accounts on mercantile basis. That's all. Okay. So going concern, consistency, and accrual. These are the three fundamental accounting principles. Okay, remember, very, very fundamental accounting assumptions or fundamental accounting principles. Okay, okay, बहुत important. It's very, very important. Okay, so okay, these are the three fundamental principles. Okay? Apart from this, there will be many other accounting principles, as you know, accounting concepts and conventions. Correct? There are many other principles. So how to select them now? Which one you want to select? Accounting policies should be selected in such a manner that when financial statements are prepared, okay, they should reflect a true and fair view. Okay? So select in such a way that the financial statement should reflect true and fair view. That is the guideline. Okay. Okay. So now accounting policies are selected based on the following factors. Okay. How to select? You have got three points for that. Okay. So difference between the above 3 points. Above 3 points were the fundamental accounting assumptions. These are accounting policies. These are the factors which you are using for selecting accounting policies. Okay. Okay. So one is prudence. ठीक है, so prudence को जो है आपके accounting concepts and convention में कंजर्वेटिज्म भी बोला जाता है, ठीक है। कंजर्वेटिज्म मीन्स पॉलिसी ऑफ प्लेइंग सेफ, ठीक है। सो दिस इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज कंजर्वेटिज्म, प्रूडेंस, ठीक है। So prudence says that provide, if you are anticipating any loss, provide for all losses, but don't anticipate profits. When you really get profits, that time you note it, don't anticipate it. But if you can, if you are foreseeing some losses, you provide for the losses first, okay. At the time of preparation of financial statements, the preparer may face some uncertainties like recoverability of receivables. So he doesn't know how much receivables, okay, or the debts, how many debtors will pay the money, he will not know fully, okay. Warranty claims, how many will claim warranty, that he will not know, okay. So he has to make some estimates for uncertainties, okay, these kind of uncertainties, and he has to provide for it in the book of accounts, okay. If he feels that, say, I mean, 4% people will not pay me back, 4% of debtors will not pay, that's what he feels, okay, based on some basis, so he should provide that in the account, okay. He has to make a provision for those debtors, okay, okay, debit the P&L and make a provision, ठीक है. So ये जो है, ये for example provision for bad and doubtful debts, ठीक है, okay. So prudence, what you do is, anything if you think that there can be a loss here or I'll get less money from here, just you provide it in the accounts. But you do not do that, do the same for profits. You might feel that no, I might get more. If you feel that you might get more, you will not put that in the accounts. So that is prudence, ठीक है. इसको conservatism भी बोला जाता है. It is the policy of playing safe, ठीक है. This is so first factor used for selecting accounting policies is prudence, ठीक है. And then next is substance over form, ठीक है. अब substance over form जो बोलता है ना, बोलता है this means transactions should be accounted for with its actual happening and economic reliability, ठीक है. So basically what this is saying is legal form is not relevant, ठीक है. Don't go for legal form, ठीक है. For example, यहाँ पे this is a good example of hire purchase transaction, okay. The hire purchase asset will be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet, though you are not the owner till the last installment is paid, okay. Still, because it is as good as your asset, okay, although legally it will become your asset only after your last installment, okay. So it is shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. Why? Because of substance over form. Form, legal form is such that it belongs to the person who has sold it, okay. But the substance is that it is yours now, okay. So more chances are that you will pay the whole amount and you will get the asset, okay. Okay, so this is substance over form. So for substance over form, देखिए ये नाम थोड़ा अलग है ना, substance over form. इसको याद रखना मुश्किल रहेगा. Just remember it with hire purchase. Remember it with hire purchase, then you will not forget. ठीक है? Substance over form. Last is our favorite, materiality. ठीक है? So while selecting policies, you also have to see materiality. Financial statements should disclose all items and facts which are sufficient enough to influence the decision of the user, okay. All material facts should be disclosed, okay. Okay. Apart from this, there is a quotation from Ind AS 1 also. It states that any change in accounting policy which has a material effect should be disclosed. If you are changing any accounting policy and it is having a material effect, then you should disclose it, okay. And the amount by which an item in the financial statement is affected by such change should also be disclosed, okay. So you're changing accounting policy, it is going to have a material effect, you disclose it, number one. And then if that change is going to affect certain things in the balance sheet, okay, say 1, 2, 3 different things are going to get affected, okay, then you disclose that and how much extent of impact will be there, okay. This extent ascertainable, that is how much impact will be there on those 3 items, that also you should calculate and tell. and if say you are not able to calculate at this point of time, okay, so tell that there will be impact, but at this point we are not able to calculate, that you have to disclose. Okay. Okay, if a change is made in accounting policy has no material impact on the financial statement of the current period. Okay, now this is another thing, you are making a change in an accounting policy. Okay, right now there is no change in it. Okay, but in future there can be change. In say after 2 years there will be a change. Right now there is no impact. Okay, so in current year balance sheet itself you will have to write, okay, disclose that after 2 years this much will be the impact. Okay, you'll have to tell them if there is a material impact in subsequent periods, then you have to disclose that in the current period only. So you will not wait for 2 years later, you will disclose it now itself. Okay, ठीक है, तो ये आपका Ind AS जो है is giving has just imposed this much liability. ठीक है, मतलब इतना चीज आपको और डिस्क्लोज करना है additionally based on Ind AS. If you change an accounting policy, okay, right? So first thing, if you change an accounting policy, what you are going to do? Okay, if it has a material effect, you disclose it. Number two, if there are specific items in financial statements which will be affected, okay, disclose that and tell the amount by which it will be affected. If you cannot determine the amount, tell that we cannot determine the amount. Okay, and if you are made a change in accounting policy again, it has got no impact in the current period, but will have impact after 2-3 years. So you have to tell it now itself that we are changing this policy, no impact now, but impact will be in this period. That has to be disclosed. Okay. So why it is also strict? Because nobody wants that just by changing policies you are showing a wrong position. Okay. Right. ठीक है ना, some of the areas ये चीज है कि these are some examples where different accounting policies can be followed. ठीक है, in these things there are choices of various accounting policies, and because there are various accounting policies, there is a chance that the management can change it. Okay, so one is valuation of inventories. We know that FIFO, weighted average, LIFO, there are lots of methods for valuation of inventories. ठीक है, depreciation, ठीक है, SLM, WDV. Okay, and conversion of foreign exchange items. ठीक है, you have got average rate. TT rate is telegraphic transfer buying rate, telegraphic transfer selling rate. There are the two rates. It is the SBI buying or selling rate. ठीक है, अगर आप if you are giving group 1 also, then you would have seen this in PGBP. ठीक है, TTBR and TTSR and the average of that. So this is conversion of foreign currency items. These rates are there. Okay. Treatment of retirement benefits, maybe there are some options, so you would not be knowing about it. Similarly, for government grants, there are some ways. Okay, you would not be knowing it. Okay, but ये इसका आपको you would have heard about construction contract. Right? Construction में there are different methods, isn't it? That ये जो है जो for incomplete contracts and contracts which are close to completion, there are different ways of profit calculation, correct? So there are different bases in construction contracts also. ठीक है, so इतना ही है आपके काम का. Okay, इसमें हमको और कुछ ज्यादा no need to go into too much of depth. ठीक है, just remember कि ये 6 चीजें हैं जिसमें different accounting policies are used. इसमें से 4 तो आपको मालूम ही होंगे. Okay, so this third one I'm not sure whether you would know or not. This definitely you would know. The retirement benefits in government grants probably you might not have heard of. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, so now we'll be seeing, next we are going to see types of audit. ठीक है, what are we going to see? Types of audit. ठीक है. So now see, organization structures अभी काफी complex हो गए, right? They're big organization, multinationals and all that. ठीक है, because of rapid industrial growth, ठीक है, organizations have become very complex. So which is why there is a need for various types of audit for detecting and improving deficiencies. Okay? So as and how the audit is what it is taking of accounts of organizations. More and more complex the organizations will become, audit will also become more and more complex, correct? Okay? So based on that, we have various types of audit. Okay. Okay, so we're doing classifications of various types of audit now. Next session, next section. Okay. So how can different types of audit be classified? ठीक है, ऊपर पहले हमने देखे थे. That was just a summary type of classification. Now we are trying to classify it in detail. ठीक है. So now when we'll be classifying it, not all of this is in our course. Okay. You only have the structure here, and some of this will be explained in detail. Okay, for your course. So first is classification based on organizational structure. Okay, so for organizational structure, you will have, for organizational structure, you will have, first is voluntary or private audit. Voluntary is someone who is getting accounts audited on his own. Okay, there's no compulsion by law. He's doing it on his own. Okay, it's also called as private audit. So examples are audit of sole proprietorship concern, partnership, and LLP or NGOs. Okay, so they can get their accounts audited on their own. Okay, so and then you have got statutory audit. Okay, the statutory audit is required for companies. Okay, and then you have got government audit. Okay, some so government accounts are audited, okay, by Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Okay, so chalo, so this is based on organizational structure, whether it is sole proprietorship, partnership, LLP. Statutory audit is for companies, okay, and then for government organizations you have government audit. So this is based on your organizational structure. Okay, now next we will see classification based on objective. Okay, so like for all of this, as I said, some of this will be explained for our course. You don't need, everything is listed, but you need not explain everything. Okay, there will be only some for which we have got explanation. Okay, which we'll be seeing in the following pages. Okay, so classification based on objective. One is independent financial audit. Okay, independent financial audit. Okay, internal audit, cost audit, management audit, tax audit, secretarial audit, forensic audit, information security audit, social audit, environment audit, performance audit, propriety audit. Okay, these many different types are there. Operational audit. Okay, okay, so these are different types of audit. Okay, based on objective of the audit. ठीक है, तो हम से सबके डिटेल में हम नहीं जाएंगे. ठीक है, because we will stay within our course. How much is required? ठीक है, as you know, like मैंने पहले बताया था आपको, your course is only of 150 pages, about 150 pages of your study material. Okay, so it is a, so the things for which you have to go into the core are less. ठीक है, चलो, then classification based on timing. Okay, timing means whether you will do audit once in a year or once in a quarter. Okay, one is continuous audit, which goes on continuously. Okay, annual audit once in a year. Interim audit, okay, it can be once in 6 months. Okay, or in between that also. Okay, then you have got balance sheet audit. Okay, so balance sheet audit is also done towards the end of the year. Okay, so this is based on timing. ठीक है, so आपको बस ये मालूम रहना चाहिए कि based on timing how it is classified. Okay, just need to know these heads. ठीक है, objectives में आपको सिर्फ heads, you should only know the heads. Then इसमें से whatever is required for our course, ठीक है, that much explanation we will have later on. Okay, Okay, for the rest we do not need to go in detail. Okay, now scope of audit is complete, partial and detailed audit. Okay, so this, you have got either complete audit, okay, or you will do partial audit where only a part of the organization, audit of part of organization you will do, okay, or you will have detailed audit. Okay, okay, but normally you won't use sample checking, you will be checking in detail all transactions. Okay, so chalo ye ho gaya. And here, okay, there is an observation that the classifications above sometimes will be interlocked. Okay, classifications are, okay, they are interlocked, like tax audit and cost audit both come under statutory audits also. So, okay, both are statutory audits. Balance sheet audit has got defined scope. Okay, and scope of audits can be defined by the terms of engagement or by statute. Okay, so these are the things, and then chalo, okay, we will now go through one by one, okay, all the main parts of it. Okay, so we'll start with voluntary audit or private audit. Okay, voluntary audit or private audit. So now audit is not necessary for all organizations. Okay, it is not necessary for all organizations, but most of them go for audit. Okay, because it has got some advantages. Okay, so whatever is there in inverted commas, this section will be explained below separately. Okay, these are kind of your questions. Okay, so audit of accounts may not be compulsory, yet one may get books of accounts audited for various reasons. Okay, both these are same thing. Okay, both are saying the same thing, that audit is not necessary for all types of entities, but they still go for audit. Okay, we'll have to explain this sentence. So हम देखेंगे बाद में. Okay, right? So then audit is a process of examination of books and records. We know that it is a process of examination of books and records. We'll examine books with what evidence, like vouchers and all. Okay, whether it is required by law or not. Okay, so when you define auditing, it's not whether it is required by law or not. Auditing can be done. Okay, and why? What is the final result? It is done for formation of opinion. What is that opinion? True and fair view of state of affairs of the company. That is, the balance sheet and the P&L are depicting a true and fair view, okay, of the state of affairs. ये सेंटेंस बिल्कुल याद रख लेना, कई बार लिखना पड़ सकता है ऑडिटिंग के पेपर. ओके, you might have to write it many times. True and fair view of the state of affairs of the concern. ठीक है, चलो. Then okay, so chalo, then there are two main classifications of audit. ठीक है, one is statutory and one is voluntary. Correct? Where it is required by statute. आपको statute बोल रहा है आपको कि audit करो. Okay, law, by law you have to audit whether you want or not. That is statutory audit. Second is voluntary or private audit, when you are going for it yourself. Okay, so statutory audits are mandatory in nature. ठीक है, audits of companies is mandatory under Companies Act. ठीक है, similarly insurance companies, banking companies, cooperative societies are also mandatory under their specific statutes. Okay, they have their own acts. Correct? So it is also mandatory under their specific statutes. So अब बात करेंगे voluntary or private audit. Voluntary audits or non-statutory audits or private audits. Okay, so here there is no statutory requirement. Okay, the main thing is there is no statutory requirement. Examples are sole trader, partnership, etc. There is no statutory requirement, except you have to do a tax audit. Take under section 44AB. So this you will see in PGBP. If you are going group 1 also, then you will find this in PGBP, statutory tax audit. Okay, so there is a certain slab of income. There is a table of slab. So based on that, you will have to do statutory tax audit. Okay. when the entity exceeds turnover of a certain limit. Okay, so okay, otherwise sole trader and partnership firms, their audits are voluntary audits. Okay, sole proprietors and partnerships may get their accounts audited on their own because of certain advantages. Okay. ठीक है ना, एडवांटेजेस ऑफ ऑडिट फॉर सोल प्रोप्राइटर्स. ठीक है, तो ये जो है ना आपका ये आंसर है. आई एम गोइंग अप नाउ. ठीक है, दिस इज द आंसर फॉर these the two questions in inverted commas. See these two no. ठीक है, ये दोनों के लिए दो ऑडिट इज नॉट नेसेसरी, yet they go for audit. ठीक है, sole traders and partnerships. ठीक है, इसके for this you have got the answer here. Advantages of audit for sole proprietors. ठीक है, उसका ये आंसर है. Okay, so it is almost ठीक है, more or less similar to the advantages we have studied up. ठीक है, advantages of audit for sole proprietors: evaluates the internal control system and strengthens it. ठीक है, removing weaknesses जो भी है. Okay, then increases reliability and authenticity of financial statements and helps in timely finalization of financial statements and tax assessments. Okay, if audit is going to happen, then employees will also finish things quickly. Keeps a moral check on the working. Okay, ये तो होता ही होता है audit में. It keeps a moral check on the working of employees. ठीक है, helps in getting loans and all. ठीक है, loans easily मिल जाएंगे आपको if you have audited statements. ठीक है, helps in settling trade disputes, labor disputes. ठीक है, you have got some disputes, then if you have audited account, then the other party will also believe your audited account. Okay, based on that you can negotiate. Okay, so helps in settling trade disputes, labor disputes, insurance claims also. Okay, right, for arriving at the proper claim amount, insurance authorities will use your audited accounts. Okay, so this is basically advantages for sole proprietors. Now advantages for partnership also very much similar. ठीक है, जो advantages इनको होंगे almost more or less उनको भी होंगे, right? So what is this advantages of for partnership is more or less similar to sole trader. Little some 1 or 2 points will be different. Helps in settlement of accounts among partners because there is more than one owner in partnership. Correct. So if settlement of account is to be done, that can be done. Okay. Protects interest of minors. Okay. And sleeping partners are partners who are not involved in day-to-day affairs. Okay. So for those people, if audit is being done, they'll be happy that that the other partners are doing a good job. Okay, right? And settlement of goodwill at the time of admission, retirement and death of partners. Okay, if audited accounts are there, it becomes easy to settle goodwill. Okay, loans wala point to idhar bhi hai. Okay, and you can use some points of sole trader also. Okay, in this partnership. Now, because of these advantages, entities who are not under statutory obligations, they also go for audit. Okay. Right? So primary objective is to form opinion on the truth and fairness of financial statements. Primary objective kya hai? Is to form opinion on the truth and fairness of the financial statements. True and fair view was the primary. Secondary objective was detect errors and frauds, settling of goodwill, labor disputes, etc. etc. Okay. Okay. This is auditing. Advantages of auditing for sole trader partnership firm. बस इसको साथ साथ मेरे साथ आप लोग भी कंप्लीट कर लीजिए. ओके, कि क्या क्या इस पॉइंट में क्या, एवरीथिंग टिल नाउ व्हिच वी हैव डन, इट्स ऑल क्वाइट सिंपल. ठीक है, जस्ट गो ऑन विथ मी एंड आई थिंक वी विल कंप्लीट मच अर्लियर. ठीक है, बिफोर टाइम. यू डोंट हैव टू वरी. सो एंटायर कोर्स जो है आपका ऑडिटिंग का पूरा हो जाएगा एंड यू विल हैव अ कंप्लीट कवरेज सच दैट आपको आराम से ना, इफ यू गो थ्रू, जैसे जो मैं बता रहा हूँ, व्हाटएवर नोट्स आई एम गिविंग हियर. Okay, notes are about 80% is your study material. ठीक है, I'm only trimming it for longer sentences and for complex sentences. Certain parts not needed I am removing, so it will be easier for you to study. Okay, it's basically totally handpicked from your study material. chalo, okay. So chalo, this is there. So just go on with me. What I'm trying to say is, जैसे जैसे मैं lectures I am posting, just try to complete it the same day. Okay. Right. Then, so both objectives of audit are not dependent on each other. The primary and secondary audit, okay, they are interdependent, right? So separately, you will not find true and fair view, and separately will not search for frauds and errors. So while finding true and fair only, you will find frauds and errors also. Okay, which is why, okay, they are uh, interdependent. Okay, they are interdependent and not independent. Okay, okay, they are interdependent and they are not independent. So यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए था? Here, 1 minute. निकाल देते हैं. Okay, we don't need this. So basically, the primary and secondary objectives are interdependent and not independent. ठीक है? Okay, fine. So चलो अभी next we will talk about statutory audit. Okay. So statutory audit is our next point, right? तो इसमें जो है, ठीक है, as we know, statutory audit is done as per the law. ठीक है, so law already prescribes what is statutory audit. So statutory audit is the checking of accounts as required by law. Okay, so regarding statutory audit, everything is prescribed in detail by the law. Whichever law prescribes it, sab kuch, everything is there in the law itself. How to report, what should be there in the report, even the form of reporting, everything will be there. Okay, and the authority to which the report will be presented. Okay, all are specified by the statute. Okay, statutory audit mein there is no problem. You have to follow whatever is prescribed. Okay, you don't have an option to not follow even one single thing. If 100 things are mentioned, all 100 have to be followed. If you follow 99, that is not enough. Okay, the statutory audits are mandatory in nature, and wherever there is a statutory auditor, he will be the principal auditor, like the chief auditor of the organization. Okay, okay, because he will not report to any other auditor, right? So that's why he'll be the principal auditor. Okay, for in case of statutory audit, if you see for Companies Act will provide, okay, how to do audit under Companies Act. Okay, it will govern the audit, reporting, manner of reporting, everything. Which statute? Companies Act 2013. Okay, and for audit of government body, okay, everything regarding audit will be set by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and in some cases Companies Act also. Okay, certain rules of the Companies Act also apply to it. Okay, that is for the government body. And for any other statute, so ठीक है, और बहुत सारे acts हैं हमारे, correct? There are many acts. So in case of audit of insurance company or nationalized bank, it is governed by their specific statutes. Okay, so insurance company, it is IRD it's called. Okay, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. Okay, IRDA. Okay, and for nationalized bank, it will be RBI. Okay, and for banks, it will be Banking Regulation Act. Cooperative banks, Cooperative Societies Act. Okay, so these acts will be giving all details on how to give the report, form of the report. Okay, what are to be checked, everything will be there in the law. Okay, so apart from the law, if the auditor wants to check something more also, he can do that. Okay, but minimum of this, whatever is mentioned in the statute, that much has to be checked. Okay, there is no option regarding that. The statutory auditor of a company will be appointed by the shareholders in general meeting. Okay, the statutory auditor is appointed by the shareholders in the general meeting. Okay, and the shareholders cannot delegate this power to directors even by a special resolution. Okay, it is actually it is appointed by in general meeting, not in board meeting. Okay. So which is why statutory auditor will be appointed by shareholders in general meeting. So board can have their say, that is another thing. Okay. But it is actually appointed by the shareholders. Okay. It will not be appointed in the board of directors meeting. No. Okay. And they cannot delegate this power to directors even by a special resolution. Okay. And statutory auditor can be appointed by central government. Okay. If the shareholders do not appoint. If the shareholders for some reason could not appoint it, then it will be appointed by the central government. Okay. And okay. And who should perform a statutory audit? आपको तो मालूम ही है, right? You all know already. Statutory audit should be performed by a qualified chartered accountant, and he should have a valid COP, which is certificate of practice. Okay. Both things are important. It should be qualified CA and should have a valid certificate of practice. Okay. And no other person can do it. Okay. Statutory audit of companies. Okay. Chalo. So ये हो गया. And now next point is advantages of statutory audit. So I think so we'll continue from the next class. That will be better. Okay. Okay. Chalo.